Well, good evening to you, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you on your Friday, March 14th, 2025. It is 11:05 p.m. Central, 12:05 a.m. Eastern. It is a dangerous, significant, severe weather outbreak possibility for all of the Deep South, including Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and even up into Tennessee and maybe even upstate South Carolina and western North Carolina over the next 24 hours or so. And so we are going to spend a little bit of time with you this evening, and we're going to do a Weather Talk Live and show you those possibilities, talk to you about what we may see as we get into this severe weather event. I welcome all of you to Dr. Don's Weather. I encourage you to like us, follow us, subscribe to Dr. Don's Weather on Facebook. It's 99 cents a month. That helps support us here at Dr. Don's Weather. And also head over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that little notification bell so you'll be guaranteed to get a notification when we go live to cover severe weather. So let's go to the graphics, and I'll show you the latest information from the National Weather Service office out of Birmingham. This is updated since the last time that we talked. This is the severe weather threat for tonight. There is a slight chance of severe weather for this evening, and that's what we're looking at here. So the timing has been adjusted a little bit. Now it looks like if there's going to be any severe weather this evening, it's going to move into West Alabama around 1 a.m., then across central Alabama about 4 a.m., and over into East Alabama maybe around 5 a.m. We're only looking at a very marginal risk across parts of East Alabama a little later on this morning for parts of Randolph, Clay, Talladega, up into Cleburne, Calhoun, and Cherokee, even maybe down into Coosa, Tallapoosa, and Elmore in Montgomery County. But that's just a very slight chance. Don't really anticipate any issues in East Alabama and none in West Georgia with round number one, which will be maybe 5 or 6 hours from now. The main show will come later in the day on Saturday, and this is where we expect the really dangerous weather to take place across the state of Alabama and into Georgia. Now, the threat also exists in Mississippi and Tennessee, but our primary coverage area is East Alabama, West Georgia, so that's kind of what we're going to focus on here. And we are looking at two different threat levels in the state of Alabama. We have a threat level 5, which is as high as you can get. And then we have a threat level 4, which covers most of East Alabama, and that is significantly high. Really doesn't matter, 5 or 4. Both categories are very significant, and we could be looking at a very dangerous outbreak of severe thunderstorms and tornadoes as we get into your Saturday afternoon late and into Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Two things could happen here. We could be looking at supercell thunderstorms. These will be storms that form out ahead of the main line of storms, and that's where I would anticipate the greatest risk for those damaging tornadoes, the EF2s and EF3s. Those could be long-lived, long-tracked, and they could cause some significant damage. Now, just because your county is covered with a color doesn't mean that your county is absolutely going to deal with severe weather. These tornadoes that will probably develop late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night will not affect everybody everywhere. But I will tell you that everybody everywhere across every square inch of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee does have a significant risk of severe weather late Saturday afternoon into the overnight Saturday night. Doesn't mean that everybody's going to have severe weather. It just means that conditions will be conducive, and there's a good chance that you will deal with severe weather. So we get those supercell thunderstorms in here sometime after 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That's when the window of opportunity opens. It could be 8, 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow night before you see any severe weather. If you see severe weather at all at your location. And then sometime around midnight or shortly after midnight, we'll have a squall line that will move from Mississippi into Alabama, across Tennessee, and into Georgia, or midnight or shortly after. And along that line of thunderstorms, we could have small spin-up tornadoes and damaging straight-line winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. And we could also see some large hail, both in the supercell storms and that line of thunderstorms that'll move through late tomorrow night. And then it's all over with. So a couple of different things could be working tomorrow afternoon, the supercell, and then that line of thunderstorms that'll be in here around midnight tomorrow evening. I have not even looked at the chat room, but I can almost guarantee you someone has already asked the question, what about my particular location? And I can tell you that I can't tell you what's going to happen in your front yard. I can't tell you what's going to happen in your town. I cannot tell you what's going to happen in your county. But I can tell you that if you're in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Western North Carolina, upstate South Carolina, you're in a high-risk category for severe weather on Saturday afternoon and during the overnight Saturday night. We're already seeing some significant severe weather up to our northwest, places like Missouri and Arkansas. We've already seen reports of a mobile home park that was totally destroyed within the last hour, maybe last 2 hours, with multiple people trapped in mobile homes and lots of damage up there. So that's kind of the kind of weather we're going to be looking at as it moves across Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm going to tell you that this is a high-risk, dangerous situation across Alabama and Georgia. The last time we had a level 5 risk in the state of Alabama was March 25th of 2021. That was the night we had 10 tornadoes across the state of Alabama. And that was also the night of the Wadley, Alabama tornado that came across the Corinth community and then went across the Roxton area and then eventually on over into Georgia and did a lot of damage in the Noonan area. So that was the last time. So that was about 4 years ago. So that's how rare a level 5 risk is in Alabama and in Georgia. We just typically don't see the 4s and 5s. Marginal and then the slight risk category and the enhanced risk category, not that uncommon, but to see a 4 and 5, that's pretty rare across Alabama and Georgia. But don't get caught up in all the different colors and the different levels. We're just trying to convey to you that the ingredients will be in place for severe weather tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. Now, whether or not that all comes together at the right time over your house, who knows? We can't tell you that for sure. But just understand that the risk is going to be there, and it is a significant risk for the possibility of a significant severe weather outbreak across all of the southeastern states as we get into Saturday night and early on your Sunday morning. So what can you do to prepare for this kind of weather? Well, the first thing you need to do is find a NOAA weather radio. I mean, most department stores or places that sell electronics sell the NOAA weather radios. Of course, you can get them on Amazon. It's too late for that now. But we've been telling you this since last Saturday. So hopefully some of you did go online and purchase a NOAA weather radio. You got to have one. Everybody has to have a NOAA weather radio. Also, make sure you have a good app on your phone. Keep your phone charged. And don't turn or make sure that your do not disturb is not turned on when you go to bed tomorrow night. A lot of folks, including myself, at a certain time each night, I have that do not disturb automatically turn on, which turns off all of my notifications from social media. Now, I still get phone calls and that sort of stuff, but I have it set to turn off all of my notifications. Well, you need to turn that back on tomorrow night when you go to bed. And also make sure your WIA alerts are turned on your phone. So those child abduction notifications that you get that are very annoying because you get them from 6 states away that don't even have anything to do with your area. A lot of people turn their emergency alert notifications off on their phone because of that. Well, if you turn it off, that also turns off the alerts that you would get from the National Weather Service for tornado warnings and flood warnings. Those are sent to you the same way those Amber Alerts come to you. It's called a wireless emergency alert or WIA alert. So make sure if you've turned that feature off on your phone, turn it back on for tomorrow night. Because that's very important. And make sure you have another good app on your phone as well. You get it two ways. Redundancy is always best. Also, make sure you subscribe to local mass notification. Check with your local county or municipal government. Most everybody has a mass notification system now, and sign up for those local notifications as well. Follow, like, and subscribe to Dr. Don's Weather on Facebook and on YouTube. If you live in a mobile home, folks, you have to leave the mobile homes. You can't stay in a mobile home in this type of weather setup. And you should do that when your area goes under a watch. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to suggest to you that you treat a severe thunderstorm warning the same as a tornado warning, because any thunderstorm that develops tomorrow will have the capability of producing a tornado. So this is going to be one of those situations where you're going to hear me say 1,000,000 times tomorrow, if your county goes under a severe thunderstorm warning, you need to treat it like it's a tornado warning. Here's the deal, folks. Wind is wind. Your trees around your house and your home could care less whether it's wind from a tornado or a severe thunderstorm. It doesn't matter. Wind is wind. And we're going to have a high chance of some significant winds tomorrow, both from thunderstorms and tornadoes. So let's treat every warning tomorrow as though it is a tornado warning. But when that watch is issued, whether it's a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch, and most likely tomorrow it's going to be a tornado watch, and it'll probably be a particularly dangerous situation tornado watch too, if I had to guess. That's when you need to evacuate your mobile home. Don't wait until a warning is issued, because then it could be too late. You could be putting yourself in danger, but even more danger, by being in an automobile. You don't want to get caught in an automobile. That's worse than being in a mobile home. So when the watch is issued tomorrow, and that'll probably happen somewhere late afternoon, if I had to guess, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, then that's when you need to go to a tornado shelter. And there are literally dozens of shelters that are going to be open tomorrow all across East Alabama and West Georgia. I was attempting to keep up with them until the last hour or so, and it's become overwhelming. This is pretty much a one-man show, and there's just no way I can keep up with all of the different shelters across the area that now have decided to open. If you want to post them in the chat room on this video, feel free to do so, and I hope that you do. If you have a whole list and you want to post them, that's perfectly fine. Please do that. You guys can be part of what I'm doing for East Alabama and West Georgia by posting those shelters in the chat room for everybody to see. But there's just no way I can keep up with all of them. I'll touch on those local ones in Randolph and Chambers County, but anything outside of that, you guys need to help me with that and just post them in the chat room. So, again, mobile home folks, I'm not picking on you. I've lived in mobile homes before, and if the situation arises, I'll live in mobile homes again. I love mobile homes. But it's just a simple fact. A mobile home is not built to withstand winds that a brick and mortar type structure can withstand. So in this type of setup that we expect to have tomorrow, you have to have a plan to evacuate mobile homes. I've already gotten texts from people who are telling me, well, I have no options. There's no way I can go anywhere. If your life depends on it, you can. I know it's not easy. I know it's inconvenient. I know you're going to have to ask someone to help you. I get every bit of that. But you got to know somebody. You got to find a way to leave those mobile homes tomorrow and go to a tornado shelter when you go under a watch, whether it's a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch. Know your safe place. That would be the center of the lowest floor at home and at work, in an interior room away from doors and windows. Basement is always best. Helmets for everyone. Also pillows, blankets, cushions, baby bed mattresses, futon mattresses, hard sole shoes, loud noise maker, and those helmets. Let me just show you what you need to do and how you need to prepare in your safe place. Is that not the most precious thing you have ever seen in your life? That's one of my young ones right there. This was taken several months ago. They had a severe weather threat down in Albany, Georgia, where they live, several months ago. And this is the photograph I get from my daughter of River Maddox with his helmet on in his safe place, prepared for the severe weather that was moving through their location at that time. But this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of thing you need. Everybody's got to have a helmet that protects your head, and you need to make sure and make plans for that now. You know, bicycle helmets, baseball batting helmets, football helmets, motorcycle, anything to protect your head is the best way to go. And keep them in your safe place. All right, places not to go. Here are some do not do's. Buildings with flat, wide roofs, such as cafeterias, gymnasiums, theaters, any open span roof. Because here's what happens. In a large open span area, that wall on either side is what's supporting the roof. So if you lose either side, either wall, that roof is going to collapse. So you never want to evacuate into a large open span area. And always stay away from those exterior walls. You want to get inside and stay away from windows, doors, and exterior walls. Open rooms with lots of windows or tall buildings are not a good place to be. Be weather aware. Know where you are on a map. Can you look at a map? If you live in Alabama and you have a piece of paper with a map of the state of Alabama and all you have are the county outlines, can you pick out which county you live in? If you can't, then you need to get on Google as soon as we get through with this live broadcast and Google Alabama state map. Figure out where you are on that map so that when we're showing weather radar and we're showing weather on a map, you'll know where you are in relation to the weather. So that's part of being situationally aware. Be able to pick out your town and your county on your state map. Also, you need a general understanding of which way is north, south, east, and west. When we tell you that we have severe weather that's moving in, and it's moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour, then you need to be able to look at the map, see where you are, understand where if the storm's moving northeast, whether it's coming in your direction or not. These are things you can do to help yourself and be better weather aware, which will help you stay safe during times of severe weather. You also want to make sure you understand the difference between watch and warning. Watch simply means that conditions are favorable for the formation of severe weather in and close to the watch area. So we are watching for the possibility. And a warning means it's happening. We either have a radar indicated severe thunderstorm or tornado, or we have ground truth reporting. And we know for a fact that we have a severe thunderstorm or a tornado on the ground. So that's the difference. Watch, we're just watching for it. Warning, it is taking place. And again, treat severe thunderstorms tomorrow as though they are tornadoes. And go to your safe place if you go under a severe thunderstorm warning. Be prepared for power outages. We hadn't talked a whole lot about that, but I'd be willing to bet that we're going to see a lot of power outages across Alabama and Georgia tomorrow. So keep at least a 3-day food supply and water supply just in case you go 2 or 3 days without power. It hadn't been that long ago we went through that, especially in East Alabama. We lost power in a large area there for 2 to 3 days. Some of you, it was like 4 days before you got your power back. So be ready for power outages. The best description I think I like to give about that is think about if you're going primitive tent camping off in the wilderness. Just about everybody's done that at least once in their lifetime. So what did you take with you? What would you need? If you went camping in a tent and you have no electricity, no running water, what would you take with you? Well, that's what you need to have prepared and ready just in case we lose power tomorrow night during this severe weather outbreak. You could be 24, 48 or hours or longer without power, so be prepared for that. All right, so that, again, is a look at the timing for tomorrow. We think anytime after about 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, that window of opportunity will open. That doesn't mean we're going to see storms at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It just simply means that between 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and 1 a.m. Sunday morning, that is the window for severe weather. We think that we'll start the severe weather event with those singular supercell thunderstorms, and then as we get toward midnight tomorrow night, that squall line will move through, and that will bring severe weather with it as well, but it'll push everything out of here, and I think by 1, 2, 3 a.m. Sunday morning, the severe threat is all gone, and actually Sunday may end up being a pretty decent day across Alabama and Georgia. So let's go to the radar, and we do have multiple severe thunderstorms taking place now off to our west and northwest. Most of the significant severe is still up in Arkansas, with the exception of one lone severe thunderstorm that is producing a tornado in Mississippi. This is in western Mississippi. All right, so here's a great example of a supercell thunderstorm. That's what we're looking at right here. This is what we think we may see across portions of Alabama and Georgia tomorrow. This is to the northwest of Lexington, Mississippi, or to the southwest of Greenwood, Mississippi, just to the west of I-55. And this is a classic discrete supercell thunderstorm. This thing's sitting out here by itself, and you can clearly see that we've got a tornado going on here. As a matter of fact, let me take a look at the verbiage on this. A tornado warning remains in effect until 12:15 a.m. For southeastern Sunflower, northwestern Holmes, and west central Carroll in Mississippi. This is over in western Mississippi. At 11:22 p.m., a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Swifttown, or 10 miles north of Belazon. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. Moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So that is a significant severe weather outbreak right there, near Morgan City, Mississippi. It's right there on top of Morgan City. That one's confirmed. That's a really dangerous situation right there. And these are the type of storms I'm afraid we're going to see tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night across Alabama and Georgia. That is moving off to the northeast. That's going to end up going up around Oxford, Mississippi, maybe, if it holds together. Oxford's a long way away. It probably won't hold together that long. But that storm's not going to make it into Alabama. That will end up probably up in Tennessee if it holds together. Then we look a little bit further back out to the west, and we see this big line of storms. Let me zoom out and just show you. This line of storms stretches from Arkansas all the way up to Minnesota. So that's just a incredible long line of thunderstorms, and it is severe pretty much all the way up into northern Illinois, with multiple tornado warnings now. There's some tornado warnings near Effingham, Illinois, Charleston, Illinois, and then below St. Louis. So we had tornado warnings in the greater St. Louis area earlier. Look at all those purple flashing polygons. Those are all confirmed tornadoes on the ground. Multiple warnings there. The Cedar Bluff, Arkansas, currently being warned for a tornado on the ground. Maynard, Arkansas. And then we get down to around Newport. There's a confirmed tornado on the ground there. Searcy, Arkansas, confirmed tornado on the ground. Just south of Little Rock, Arkansas, confirmed tornado on the ground. Just north of Camden, confirmed tornado on the ground. And so this line is going to move to the east over the next 4, 5, 6 hours, and some of that could sweep across North Alabama. Now, it's going to be in the wee hours of the morning, and this is round number 1. And I think there is a chance that this round will be weakening as it moves into Alabama. Unlike tomorrow night, where I don't think that's going to be the case tomorrow night. I don't think we're going to see weakening storms tomorrow night. But tonight, I think it's possible. We didn't get that much heating of the day today. Tomorrow may be a totally different story. We may be approaching 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon. So that's why I don't think storms are going to lose much of their punch tomorrow evening, but tonight may be a little different. So at the moment, I don't expect these storms to continue to produce tornadoes of this magnitude by the time it's over here in northeast Alabama and northwest Georgia, which will be sometime after probably 3 or 4 a.m. Tomorrow morning. So before I go to the chat room, I want to switch radars right quick, and this is going to take just a second to do this. I want to change to a different type of radar look, and it is loading. It'll take just a second. Here we go. I want to go back to that Mississippi storm because this gives us an opportunity for you guys to see what these storms look like, and I really expect this is the type structure of storms we're going to see tomorrow across East Alabama and potentially West Georgia. So I want to zoom in, and that may not be the best look. Let me see if I can. Let's go down here and look at it from Jackson. Yes, that's a much better look. You see that inflow notch right there? Now, these are all things that we're going to tell you to watch for tomorrow. Let me get my telestrator out. I got to do my art class. All right. You see that right there? That's what's called an inflow notch, meaning that this storm is pulling air up into it. All right, so somebody asked the question earlier about helicity, because a lot of people have been posting maps today that appears to be tornado tracks all across Alabama and Georgia. And really what that is, it is a product that shows you the areas where we could potentially see rotation in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, basically is what that map is. It's not necessarily where tornadoes are going to be, but it could be a good indication of where supercell thunderstorms will be with rotating levels in the mid levels of the atmosphere. So what's happening in this storm, you have this storm is rotating in the mid levels, obviously, because we have a tornado. And that rotation is pulling this air into it right there in that inflow notch. So it's pulling warm, moist air in. It can't survive without that. That's what fuels the storm. So that is a classic tornado look right there. You've got your little hook down here, and you have that inflow notch that's taking place there. This is all hail that's taking place up here to the north of the storm. Then you have heavy rain there as well. Then you have your rain-free basin on the backside of it. And this entire storm is moving in that direction. So one of the products we'll use a good bit tomorrow to look at these storms will be the base velocity. And that is looking at the wind direction in the storm. This is what we normally look at as reflectivity. This is the precipitation. But you'll see me tomorrow switch over to the base velocity a good bit so that we can look at the wind inside this storm. And you can see right there that we have 52.6 mile per hour wind coming into the storm. And then on the backside, we have, I think I saw 45. There's a 40 going away from the radar. So it's very clear. We have wind going in two different directions. We have wind coming toward the radar and wind going away from the radar. So that's another huge indication that we have a tornado going on right here. Not to mention the fact it's extremely obvious that we have a tornado because green is touching red. And there's your tornado right there. That is just south of Morgan City, Mississippi. And this does look to be a pretty significant looking tornado. So just a little 101 for you. These are all things we're going to be doing a good bit of tomorrow, I'm afraid, across Alabama and Georgia. And I'm glad that I hate this is happening for Mississippi, but at least this gives us an opportunity to kind of show you what to expect tomorrow when we start covering this for you. So I'll go back over to the reflectivity and zoom back out. And if I go over here and look at these storms in Arkansas, that's not a good look at that one. I probably need to go back to Pine Bluff. We'll let this load. And we'll go to the Searcy storm up here. Yeah, there's another good look. You see, again, that's very easy to pick out. There's your inflow notch. Your tornado is going to be right in here. Once you get a pretty good handle on what to look for, it's really not that hard to pick out a tornado. This is back down toward Camden, Arkansas. Again, there's your inflow notch right there. Your tornado is going to be right in here. I mean, every one of these storms we look at, we're going to see the same thing. We may have to change radar sites to really get a good look at it. There's your inflow notch. They're not warning for this one right now, but this one most likely will go tornadic. And here's why I can see that. You see that little circle there spinning, the yellow circle that's spinning? That's a mesoscale indication. That's telling me this storm is rotating more than it should be for just an average thunderstorm. So this one is probably in the process of ramping up, and I would not at all be surprised to get a warning out of this one. We got Got a really dangerous storm near Campbell Station, which is going to be to the southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is going to be a considerable damage system right here. And again, your tornadoes right in this area, just north of Campbell Station. That's in Arkansas. So there you go. That's kind of what things look like at the moment. Again, I think this will sweep across northern Mississippi, North Alabama, maybe even North Georgia. But I think by the time it gets into Alabama, especially northeast Alabama and North Georgia, I think these storms will have calmed down below severe limits. But we're going to keep an eye on it, that part of it for you all night. All right, so let me go over here to the chat room and see if you guys have got any questions. Tiffany says that she's already waiting on me to say good night, Lee County. Yeah, I'm ready to say good night to all of you guys. I would really kind of hope that we don't have to even do that, but I'm awfully afraid we're going to have to. Yes, Leslie, the inflow notch is normally, well, it is. It's on the right-hand side on the southwest flank of the storm. Tornado-producing supercell thunderstorm structure is pretty much identical on every storm. Tennessee. Well, I mean, this stuff is going to come through Tennessee tonight. This is going to be round one for Tennessee. You see all these storms in Arkansas. I don't know what part of Tennessee you're in, but if you're over here, if you're west of Nashville, you got a pretty good chance of severe weather tonight. And then you'll have to deal with it again tomorrow night, late tomorrow afternoon, and tomorrow night again. I know the SEC championship is taking men's basketball championship is taking place, the tournament in Nashville. Alabama's in the process of wearing Kentucky out. I was watching that before I went back live. Auburn and Tennessee play tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And there might be some pretty significant weather in the Nashville area around that time tomorrow. Alabama is very familiar with playing basketball in tornadoes. Remember, that happened in Atlanta several years ago. Sorry, I got wrapped up in all these cables over here. But, yeah, Tennessee's going to be dealing with severe weather as well. Do we think that the storms tomorrow will track northeast as well? Yes. The individual storms will track northeast. The entire system will track east. Will Wilmington, North Carolina see severe weather? Wilmington, North Carolina, if you do, it would be during the day on Sunday. I mean, you could see some of these storms that are coming out of Arkansas during the afternoon on Saturday, but then that second line wouldn't get to you until sometime Sunday. Paula says, well, I guess we'll have to get in our safe place several times tomorrow. Well, I don't know, Paula. I mean, your particular location may never have to go to your safe place, and that's my hope. Somebody somewhere, probably in more than one location, is going to have to deal with significant severe weather tomorrow across Alabama and Georgia. But I'm not telling you it's going to be absolutely everywhere. I don't think it will. So you may be one of those blessed ones that don't have to deal with it. I'm going to be honest with you, Stephanie. I haven't looked at the tornado parameters up there in Wilmington. Just give me a second, though. It doesn't take me just a second to... Take a quick peek up there at you. Well, they're calling for no hazards tonight in the Wilmington area. I don't see anything on the National Weather Service page. Forecast showers likely Sunday. I mean, you got a 90% chance of rain Sunday, 80% chance of rain Sunday night. But I don't see any mention. Okay, it does talk about the potential exists for a line of storms with isolated damaging wind gust on Sunday. But the threat levels we're seeing in Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia and Tennessee, no. I don't see that for Wilmington, North Carolina. All right, so there we go. I got folks asking for specific locations. Let's see. Is Etowah, Alabama, in line for severe weather on Saturday? Y'all know how this goes, so everybody say it with me. If you're in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, I'm talking western North Carolina, upstate South Carolina, Tennessee, I'll add Arkansas and Louisiana to it. Every square inch of your state has a better than average high risk of significant severe weather tomorrow afternoon late through tomorrow night. Every square inch. There's not a place in Alabama, Georgia, or any of the states I've mentioned that is immune to the possibility of severe weather tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. There's no way I can tell you. There's no way anyone can tell you exactly what's going to happen in your front yard. But there is a high likelihood that there will be severe weather across all of those states, but it won't happen absolutely everywhere. So I can't tell you with any guess or any type of certainty, or I'd just be blowing smoke if I tried to tell you what the weather is going to be like in Etowah. You're going to have a pretty good risk of severe weather, regardless of where you are in any of those states I just mentioned. Yeah, Stephanie, I concur with your local news. It does look like a low risk for you up there. Noonan, Georgia is supposed to really get it after midnight. Maybe, maybe not. You could have a soup then. We're talking midnight tomorrow night, not tonight. We're talking midnight Saturday night into Sunday morning, not tonight. Because we have a risk of severe weather across part of our state tonight, people are getting confused over which night we're going to have the severe weather. For most of you across East Alabama and Georgia, the severe weather threat will be tomorrow night. Now, there is a Slight risk. We could see some severe weather up around the I-20 corridor after about 2, 3, or 4 a.m. tomorrow morning with this system that you see on radar that's moving through Arkansas now. But, I mean, we could have a supercell thunderstorm that could, move through northern Randolph, southern Carroll, and completely miss Noonan. Yet we could have extreme damage in those counties next to you. That's the kind of setup we're looking at tomorrow afternoon, late, and tomorrow night. So nobody can tell you with certainty that it's going to get really bad in Noonan after midnight tomorrow night. The risk is there. It certainly is plausible that you may have severe weather, but nobody can tell you right now that, yes, it's going to get really bad after midnight. It may or it may not. Yes, it is absolutely. Good night, Lee County. Absolutely, you can go to bed in Lee County tonight. Any severe weather tonight would be most likely north of I-20, and it would most likely be in northwest Alabama. I don't even see much of a risk at all for northeast Alabama. It's not zero, but there's not much of a risk for northeast Alabama. And down there in Lee County, you're way away from that. Yes, absolutely, Marengo. Good night. Well, that news lady is wanting you to come back and watch her because she is spelling gloom and doom to you, Leslie. Now, if she's only like about 3.5 or 4 years old, then she would be telling you the truth, that she's never seen anything like this before. Because it has been about 4 years since we've had this kind of risk. It's been about 4 years since we've had a level 5 risk in the state of Alabama. The last time we had a level 5 risk was in March of 2021. It was on March 25th, and we did have a tornado move through, different parts of the state. We had over 10 tornadoes in Alabama that night. One of them that I remember so well was across Randolph County, southwestern Randolph County. That was the Wadley-Corinth tornado. That was the last time we had a Category 5 risk in the state of Alabama. Absolutely. Those weather radios will wake the dead. And that's exactly what it should do. I mean, that's the whole purpose. And I heard some knuckleheads on the radio in Atlanta complaining about NOAA weather radios, and they were just totally, obviously, neither one of them had one because they had no clue what they were talking about. I tried my best to get their phone number and set them straight, but I couldn't find it. But they were talking about how weather radios they needed to figure out how to put a GPS in the radios so they wouldn't go off all the time for warnings that didn't have anything to do with you. Well, that's what they are. It already has that capability. It's called SAME technology. You program it for the counties you want to get the alerts for, and if you only want to get them for your county, then guess what? You're only going to get an alert for your county. That's how they've been designed that way for years. So I don't know where these two knuckleheads have been, but they won't go off and wake you unnecessarily if you program them correctly. You got to have one. You got to have a NOAA weather radio. You got to have one. Did I say that? That is, if you don't have anything else, you got to have a NOAA weather radio. Yeah, Kay's asking everybody to do the rain dance when you get up tomorrow morning. I was hoping, it was primarily just me. It never really was in the forecast, but I was hoping we would get some good coverage rain in here tomorrow morning, and maybe we could hold on to rain through, noon or 1 or 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, which would keep us cool. It would also help stabilize the atmosphere, and it might dissipate any chance of severe weather. That's not going to happen. Even if we get any rain at all in East Alabama in the wee hours of the upcoming morning, I think it's all gone by 8 or 9 o'clock. The sun comes out, and we probably make it into at least the mid-70s, if not the upper 70s or low 80s by late afternoon tomorrow. And then that's what's going to help fuel these storms. Thank you, Ronald Brown. We've been using this radar. Actually, this is Fox News uses this as their backup radar. And it's a pretty good product. It's written by an individual. We're about to get a major update to this platform, and it's going to do lots of cool things. That should be coming out sometime this year. We're going to a 3D version of it. We're actually going to be able to turn the storms upside down, look at them sideways. There are some products out there where you can already do that, but this technology that's coming with this particular radar is going to be pretty cool. So we're looking at a storm pretty close there. This is southwest of Jonesboro. Let me go to the Jonesboro storm. That's going right over Jonesboro, Arkansas. So there's Jonesboro right there. That's Jonesboro, Arkansas. That's kind of a noisy look right there. Let me see if I can get a better picture of that one. All right, let's look at this from... Let's try it from Memphis and see if it looks any better. Yeah. All right, yeah. There's your tornado right there. Right around Egypt, Arkansas, or just west of Jonesboro. Got your inflow coming in right there. And right in this area is where your tornado is. And according to the tag on it, we've got considerable damage taking place right here. I think, though, it looks like here's your tornado right here, and it's moving in that direction. So it should stay out of Jonesboro proper. It's going to go just northwest of Jonesboro. Yeah, that's another significant looking tornado right there, too. Right in here. That's north of Jonesboro. So, some pretty nasty weather taking place in Arkansas right now. I know that we had a lot of damage up here in Missouri when this line of storms moved through Missouri earlier. I know for a fact there's a mobile home park up there that was just totally annihilated. And there were folks trapped in that mobile home park. I have not seen reports of any fatalities, but from the quick report I saw right before we came back on, it didn't look good up there in parts of Missouri. Let me go back down here and look at the Mississippi. Mississippi's got one tornado producing thunderstorm right now. Get that a little bit bigger for you. And let's look at that. Let's see if we can get that from a different angle. Yeah, that looks better. Now let's switch back over to the base velocity. Yep, there she blows. There's your tornado right there. So this is near Greenwood, Mississippi. That's between Greenwood and North Carrollton, Mississippi. Just to the northeast of Morgan City. And it's moving to the northeast. So it's going to cross over I-55, probably somewhere between Winona and Duck Hill, Mississippi. And that's the only severe storm in the state of Mississippi right this moment. Beginning to see a few showers pop in Alabama. I mean, these are very small showers, but southwest of Alabaster, back down toward Brent, Centerville, Billingsley, maybe some showers there. We'll see. I mean, these showers could grow into, larger showers, and there certainly could be some rumbles of thunder. But I mean, they're just now developing, and I would not anticipate them to develop into anything severe. Searcy, Arkansas, that's correct, Chris. Hey, Wayne Lane in New York City. Yeah, you are correct on the time. I don't know. We changed, of course, time changed on Sunday. Everything got all jacked up, and every time I set it and get it back right, it. Oh, you're looking at the. Yeah, I see it up there. It says 12:04. It's 11:04. No, it's not. Got me all confused. It's 1:05 Eastern. It's 12:05 Central. You may be seeing that timestamp on the radar. That's what time that frame was taken. See, it loops all the way back, and then it comes current. Hey, we may have something going on with the radar data, too. And that computer may not have changed time. I bet you that's what's going on. Okay. Yeah, I got you. I'm tracking. I am tracking. So our radar, the WSV3 computer, did not change time. That's what's going on. So the upper right-hand corner time is correct. The radar time is not correct, but it's the time that's not correct, not the radar loop. We'll get that fixed. We will get that fixed. Good catch. Josh, thank you. We'll get that fixed when we take a break here in just a bit. Bobby's in the house watching us in the Birmingham, the Magic City, the Iron City. Birmingham got lots of names. I couldn't begin to tell you, Olivia. I know that you're in Alabama, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Western North Carolina, upstate South Carolina. Every square inch of all of those states are in a high risk for significant severe thunderstorms and tornadoes on Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. There's no way I could tell you what I think Wedowie's going to get. Though I can tell you for sure that you're in a high-risk area. Strong, damaging, severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, damaging straight-line winds, large hail are all possibilities. Same for Lafayette. It is 12:05. It's 12:08 now in Wedowee. That time you see on the left under the Southern Union logo, that's not clock time, that's radar time. Which, as soon as I take a break, I can fix that. The upper right-hand corner is the actual time. Time. You're mostly welcome, Chris. And I don't have a P.O. box, but if you'll PM me, I'll give you my mailing address. I have several people that do that. If you'll just send me a message on Messenger, I'll be more than happy to give you my mailing address. Okay, now, Olivia, I can help you with that. There's your time frame right there. This is the significant severe weather outbreak tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night across East Alabama and West Georgia. We're thinking between 4 p.m. and 1 a.m. Obviously, Georgia adds an hour to that. And then south of Auburn, 6 p.m. through 3 a.m. Doesn't mean it's going to be storming that entire time, but that's when the window of opportunity will open up. And then we're looking at supercell thunderstorms probably for, 3 or 4 hours. And then we get that main line of storms, the squall line, which will push through around midnight tomorrow night and push all this stuff out of here. Now, it is going to be windy. It is going to be windy tomorrow. Even removed from thunderstorms. So we do have a wind advisory for both Alabama and Georgia. Winds are going to be breezy and gusty, 15, 20, 25, maybe even 30 miles per hour at times. Away from thunderstorms. So keep that in mind. It's going to be a windy day anyway. Yes. Ronald, I will provide wall-to-wall coverage. Good question. Glad you asked that. I will provide wall-to-wall coverage of this entire event tomorrow. The only thing that could change that, and those of you who follow me already know this, I am an emergency manager here in White County, Georgia, which is up in the northeast Georgia mountains. Most of the time, we get the severe weather out of Alabama and West Georgia before it gets us up here. But if things were to line up just right and we have the severe weather at the same time and we start having issues up here in my county, then I would have to leave you guys a little early because I have to go take care of my responsibilities here. But at the very least, we're going to talk you all the way up to this storm, and I'll stay with you as it's happening as long as I can. And hopefully that's through the duration. Hopefully I can stay with you throughout the entire thing. But I got to put groceries on the table, so I have to top prioritize the local area I serve up here in northeast Georgia. Good morning, Ashlyn Lineville. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Dee in LaGrange, Georgia. Well, that storm over in Mississippi is getting pretty nasty looking. That is a classic supercell thunderstorm right there. We're looking at that from Birmingham. Let me go back to Columbus. Yeah, there's your tornado. Right there. Just barely north of North Carrollton, Mississippi. Just to the northwest of Winona. Just to the southwest of Duck Hill. That's a pretty good looking tornado right there. Moving in that direction. No. And that's a good question because I saw somebody in the National Weather chat room ask that exact same question. Will the delay of round one have any effect on round two? Should not. Round two timing has not changed any, and they were saying in the chat room, let me just see if I can get back to it. I'll read you exactly what they said. Okay, so will this pushback of the timing affect tomorrow? The Weather Service response is, as of right now, we're not seeing anything to change the timing for tomorrow afternoon. We will look again overnight and may make adjustments, but right now, the start time, and they're referencing West Alabama, the start time of 11 a.m. to noon in the West looks good. So in the West, that's been the start time the entire time, 11 a.m. to noon. So the Weather Service answering your question before you even ask me that question. Good stuff. Yeah, we're stocked up. I think I got enough coffee to make it through tomorrow. Thanks for asking, Robin. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate your kind words. Yeah, chance you'll have me on Facebook tomorrow. You know you're going to be there. Okay, folks. That's going to wrap it up for tonight. I think it would be wise for all of us to go get some rest. Now, I am going to keep an eye on this stuff. Let me switch back. There we go. I'm going to keep an eye on this stuff that we see back over in Mississippi, where I'm beginning to see a few more storms down around Meridian and just east of Jackson that's beginning to develop down there. And we've got a thin line of showers developing right along I-65 from Montgomery up to Birmingham that's moving off to the northeast. So, yeah, it's beginning to look like East Alabama is at least going to see some showers in the next couple of hours. But I think the severe stuff will stay north of you. But I'm going to keep an eye on that. And if we were to get anything that threatens East Alabama or West Georgia in the next 3 to 4 to 5 hours, of course, I'll be right back with you and I'll go live. I would not anticipate that to happen. I think these storms in Mississippi and Arkansas will at least stay north of the I-20 corridor. And even if they do make it into northeast Alabama and northwest Georgia, I expect these storms to be weakening. So I wouldn't expect them to be severe. But I'll keep an eye on it, and if that were to change for some reason, then I'll come right back and we'll do coverage. If not, I'll see you back in here probably mid-morning tomorrow with a live update. I'm not going to do our normal primetime forecast. What I'm going to do tomorrow will be live updates all day long, and probably the first one comes around 8 or 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then we'll update you probably once every hour or so until it becomes necessary to go wall to wall, and then we'll be with you for the duration. So thank you all for joining me this evening. Good night to everybody. Go get some rest. Tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and into Sunday. Maybe a long duration event. maybe a long duration event. So go get some rest. And I'll see you all back in here 8 or 9 a.m. tomorrow morning on Dr. Don's Weather. Thanks for joining us.